Okay, people, here we are in chapter 4. Here's your very first set of homework. Deals with a liability. There are a lot of questions that are similar in chapter 1. A lot of questions about liabilities, usually short-term liability, and also reporting requirements for payroll. This first one deals with finding a statement that is false. So we're looking to find the one that doesn't work there. Happens to be the second one. Which of the following statements regarding liabilities is false? Second answer, potential future wages to be paid to employees should be recorded as liabilities. And the operative word there is potential. If they're only potential, we don't have to do anything with them. They have to be wages that are actually earned. And so the second option would work there. And going to question 2. Question 2, in order to be reported as liabilities. Sometimes those amounts are estimated, okay? So if we can estimate them with reasonable accuracy, then we have to record that liability. We know the liability is there. We're just a little iffy about the amount we have to use and estimate. Question 3 talks about sales taxes payable. So if you're a store owner, you have to be aware of your obligation to collect sales taxes. We collect those from the customer, but we can't keep them. We have to forward them to the state, and we're going to have to record that liability to send those sales taxes along to the state. We haven't sent them to their proper home. They are recorded as a current liability. Then when we forward them to the state, we can take that liability away. Question number 4, contingent liabilities are recorded or disclosed in the financial statement notes unless they are remote, very unlikely. Okay, so here's a liability that will come into play if certain other events occur. We're not going to actually put them into our financial statements, but we have to make stockholders aware that they're there. We're going to include them in our financial statement notes. Uncertainties such as natural disasters. Okay, so we know that hurricane is on its way, but we don't do anything with that in regard to our accounting records. First response, they're not contingent liabilities for future events, but they're not arising from a past transaction. Okay, so we can ignore those. Number 6, talks about times interest earned ratio. We'll take a look at that briefly a little later. If it increases, then risk decreases. Number 7, when a note comes due, the difference between the amount borrowed and the amount repaid. So your note is due, you have to take care of the accrued interest at that point. So you don't only have to repay the amount that you originally borrowed, you're going to have to pay some interest here and you're going to take care of that obligation when your note comes due. Okay, here we're looking at a company that signed a 90-day 6% note, has a face value of $15,000. What amount of interest expense is accrued at December 31? So this is a 90-day note. We're figuring 30 days to a month. But at December 31, 1 month into that note length, we have to show some interest. Okay, so this is a monthly interest. You can see the calculation at the bottom of the screen there. I'm hoping you can take a look at it. It's kind of small, but you can see the calculation. The face value of the note times the 6%, but remember it's only 1 month, so you multiply it by 30, 360. So we're looking at a 360-day year. We do the multiplication, it works out to $75, and so at that point we're going to have to put that amount into our accounting records. Okay, here we are again. We're looking at a 120-day 8% note, has a face value of $9,000. What is the maturity value? When we talk about maturity value, we're saying what do you have to pay when the note becomes due, when the note matures. That's your principal plus your interest. We need to figure out the amount of interest. There's your calculation at the bottom of the screen. You're taking the 9,000 times the 8%. That's the annual rate times 120. Remember, it's a 120 note. And so when those 120 days expire, you're going to have to resolve that interest obligation. The obligation, again, calculated 9,000 times 8%. Here it is way down at the bottom. Hoping you can see that, times 120 over 360. Your interest expense, when it matures, $240. Remember, you have to repay the principal as well. Combine the principal, 9,000, with the 240. The last response works. Finally, here's your last question. Gross paid. We're going to be looking at some terms like this throughout the chapter. Your gross pay, that's before any deductions have been taken. It's not what your paycheck is written for. It's just referring to the total compensation that you earned before any deductions, and so second response works there. And that's the end of your first homework set for Chapter 4.